All right, I talked about this on my Sylvester Stallone drops the mic on Jake Paul video, Mike, not Mic. And I just had to do a separate video about it. Everything's starting to come together like watching Columbo. You put clue after clue together and see there's something wrong with the Paul versus Tyson fight. I mean, even the buffering with Netflix is like nothing was going right that night as far as the main event. But there's an old video with Ryan Garcia and Jake Paul where Jake Paul's bracing himself to take a body punch from Ryan Garcia. Now he's bracing himself, ready. And Ryan Garcia hits him and he's like, oh, walks over to the window or corner and he's like, oh, hunched over. And this one, he knew the punch was coming, braced himself, and still was hurt. And they always say in boxing, you get hurt by the punches you don't see coming. So you mean to tell me Ryan Garcia, who's a lot smaller than Mike Tyson, doesn't hit as hard as Mike Tyson, could fold Jake Paul over from a punch that he saw coming, but a punch that he doesn't see coming from Mike Tyson he can take? I see what Sylvester Stallone was talking about when he said Oscar-winning performance. That don't make no sense, man. For those of us that have grown up watching boxing and studied it for years and decades know something is up with this. Mike looked depressed coming to the ring. Tiger Fitness, shout out to them, was showing the training footage right before the fight, the actual fight night, showing the difference, how Mike's throwing combos and all this. And then on fight night, all of a sudden, it's just biting the glove. Everybody's thinking he was biting the gloves because that was him frustrated that he couldn't really go at Mike. Very odd behavior. And everybody's calling out Jake Paul. Ryan Garcia says he hates that he introduced Jake to boxing. I didn't know that he did that. He said he wants to get Jake back for Uncle Mike. Of course, you've all heard by now, Daniel Dubois wants to go with Jake Paul, inboxed him. Jake Paul said something about this guy's had 100 fights or something. Sounds like he's not interested. Well, Mike's had a bunch of fights. You were interested in that. I got to see the video where Frank Warren's talking about, I think he's talking about Daniel Dubois would finish Jake Paul's career. So, you know, it's like everybody's starting to do their impersonation of Columbo. Like I said, putting clues together here and there, and we're starting to see that it doesn't add up. We could see something was wrong with Mike's legs, but they were good enough to throw some punches. If you're good enough to do this, then how come you're not good enough to do this? I mean, athletes know how to work around injuries, especially at that level. Now, if something is broken, that's different. But an injury, you can work around. So, yeah, I think we, the public, demand and expect an apology, Mr. Paul. I don't want one from Mike because Mike just, I think, was out of his mind, meaning like he didn't quite know how to deal with it. And so he just went along with it. That's what I think. That's my opinion on it. Because everybody close to Mike was talking about how great he looked. We saw the footage. That's why I'm like, man, there's no way Jake Paul's winning this fight. But I said, as long as it's a legitimate fight. And that it didn't appear to be. And what's up with Jake Paul's fanboys too? They seem like they fresh out the trailer park. You know, Jake Paul, he seems like he's pretty cool with black folks, but some of his followers seem a bit iffy, like they might cut two holes in a pillowcase and put it over their face.